Hello, Counseling Wise client. This is Jane Klein, Director of Client Strategy, and I'm here to try to give you a very cursory overview of search engine optimization techniques. It's actually a pretty complicated field, as you may be aware, but to learn the first 10% of it is very, very easy. It's the other 90% is going to take weeks or months. So, but the very first 10% only takes about 15 minutes. So that's what we're going to go through here. Okay, I've decided to use a blog post as an example. And so what we're going to do is you're going to go, add new posts if you're in WordPress, and if you have if we did your site, you definitely have a WordPress site. Okay, so I've written an article, right? Let's say, and it's about HIPAA-compliant online therapy, okay? Because you might have even Googled that, right? Here and there in your time. Do I need a HIPAA-compliant online therapy? Is it available, right? And so maybe you decided that you're going to have a post called HIPAA compliant online therapy. Of course, this is a Counseling Wise site, so I'm using that as an example. Your page might be called, or your post might be called the 7 signs of true anxiety versus, just being nervous. Or something like that, whatever you want to post about. But anyway, so this is going to be this is your title, and this also informs what's called the slug. And I'm not going to get too technical here because it'll just be annoying. But you take your post that you've written out of your Word document. Whoops. That's Control C. And you go ahead and you paste it into here, okay? Just like that. And now, what I really want to bring your attention to is this little... This on the side of the right here, SEO check, okay? You can tell, see this little bubble right here? We're going to go from red to yellow to green. Your goal is to get a green Yoast bubble, okay? Now Yoast is a free plugin that revolutionized search engine optimization. And prior to Yoast, it was really a book with 7 seals, and extremely difficult to know what was going on. Yoast has really made it a breeze. It's quite amazing how simple it is now. So here we go. Now, see the URL right here, the URL, that you can tell that it already picked up. All right, so here we are at Counseling Wise, and because you called this HIPAA compliant online therapy, okay, you're going to have that in the URL now. This is called the slug, okay? And you don't want those to get too long, so you don't want them to be, go on and on and on. So, but this should be okay. And then you go ahead and grab this and do a Control C, and now you're gonna go ahead and you're going to choose what's called your focus keyword, okay? There's only one per page, and you can't have, if you have 2 pages on your site and they both have the focus keyword anxiety treatment, you're confusing Google, right? It gets to your page, it doesn't know which one you want it to go to, okay? So each page should have a unique name, a unique title, and a name URL, okay? So we're going to go ahead and and here it's telling me that people search it, but they search it without the hyphen, and that's a big problem for a person who is a stickler for grammar like myself. But I'm going to go ahead and pick it because grammar does matter, and that means that we're going to have to be grammatically incorrect on this web post, because what you really care about is the numbers. So if you get served up something that Google knows what you're trying to the focus keyword, just choose it, because your 7th grade grammar teacher will be rolling in her grave, but That's just the way it is, because you can't put in, so we're going to have to take that out. So right now, if I update this, we're going to be in the red here. So I'm going to go ahead and save the draft, because this is, I'm actually, normally you would hit publish, but we're not going to publish it right now because this is just a demonstration. Okay, so now I have it. It's a yellow. Okay, a yellow is okay, but it's far from good. And Yoast tells you why. So why isn't it green? Is it in the article heading? No. Why is that? Again, because of the hyphen, right? So watch this. You go up and you go like that. And this is really awful, but I'm going to save it again. Normally I don't save it every time. I make all the changes and then save it, but for purposes of our demonstration here, I'm trying to let you understand. See, now, is it in the article heading? Yes. Okay. Is it in the page title? Yes, it is. Okay, because I took out this. Remember, now this is a title. Okay, if any, this is how your it will a rendering of what the post looks like in a Google search result. Okay, so this is your title. That's what it's going to look like. And there's, your URL, right? HIPAA compliant online therapy. And then here's what's called your meta description. Okay, very important. Does the content contain this phrase? No, it does not. And does the meta description contain this phrase? No, it does not. That's why we're not yet at a green Yoast bubble. We're still at a yellow Yoast bubble. Okay. So, well, if you were still confused, you could do a page analysis. And here's the things that are really giving you this red light. That's why these are the things we're doing right so far. I've never used this focus keyword before. Very good. Saying congratulations. There are 596 words contained in the body copy. That's more than 300 words in the recommended minimum. Well, that should actually be a really good post is between 700 and 1,000 words. So, or pages, but really this is good, but it could be better. Okay. The page title contains the keyword, right? The keyword and phrase appears in the URL. Okay, just like I was saying. This page has 3 outbound links, and I'm not going to go into that because it's too, I don't have time. It'll confuse the issue. The page title is more than 40 characters and less than the recommended 70. Okay, so, that's good. So, no subheading tags, like H2 tags. I'm going to show you what that is in a minute. And then all of these things, it's not in the meta description. It doesn't appear in the first paragraph of the copy. There are no images. The keyword density is low, okay? And then the flesh reading score, again, I'm not going to go into that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this term and we're going to fix all these things so we can get a green Yoast bubble. That's your best friend when it comes to SEO and WordPress, okay? So I'm going to say, and the meta description is very important, okay? Because recently I've had several discussions with the folks at ePsych today. ePsych provides a virtual office for therapists and psychiatrists. Well, that's called the default meta. Google will scrape this if you don't tell it what to say, but we're going to tell it what to say. And I don't think this is all that compelling, right? So I would say something like, as a therapist, right? So then you're talking to your audience. You may be wondering if you should have a HIPAA compliant online therapy, if you should offer HIPAA compliant online therapy, and this is actually all caps as we know, online therapy as part of your practice. The answer is a resounding yes. And then something like this trend is expected to transform, and we're going to run out of characters here, okay? So, but you can see now it's in the meta description, okay? So, you know, oh, so now, but we look at the meta description is too long, okay? So now I have to get it down to 24 characters. How do we do that? Because see, I'm getting cut off. The answer is a resounding yes. So then you have to think, I want them to know that this trend is expected to transform. So then I'm going to say, you may wonder, right? You may wonder, and let's see. So now it has 2 characters. So you may wonder if you should offer HIPAA-compliant online therapy as a part of your practice. The answer is a resounding yes. This trend is expected to transform. So that's fine, you know. And I would take this and I would put it into the copy, okay, up here. And I would say, is expected, whoops, we don't want to do any, sorry. No, this is a little typo. After all these years of typing, I'm still not a very good typist. Is expected to transform. You know, you put it up there because if somebody clicks on it, right, that means that they were really interested in your meta description. So then serve it up to them, you know. Is expected to transform the therapy profession profoundly over the next decade, okay? And then I'm going to save this draft and we're going to see where we are. It's probably still yellow. It might be green, but we're still not finished. So it is green, okay? Now, if you're extremely busy and you can't be bothered, it's okay you're good to go. See, it has one. You have it in the article heading, you have it in the page title, you have it in the URL, you have it in the content, and you have it in the meta description. But look at this. See, you're still not done because there are no images on the page, right? So I would go ahead, if I were you, and I would put in an image, right? HIPAA concern is a real something. Here's a map that will illustrate the telehealth coverage by state. And we're going to go and insert. We're going to add our media here. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let me just grab something. This is not going to make any sense, but I'm going to insert this into the post, okay? And we're going to name this. What are we going to name it? If people do a search on, don't use AdWords Express, by the way. It's terrible. You never ever. This is part of a webinar Becky gave that extolling you to please not use AdWords Express. It'll ruin you'll waste your money and ruin your practice. Okay, but we're going to call this HIPAA compliant online therapy e-psych article. Okay, even though it's not, just forgive me. And now we're going to save the draft. And now you have an alt tag that has your keyword in it. Okay, so that's the principle of the matter here. And again, this is just a. So let's look at our page analysis. And so now it says the images on this page contains the alt tag. So good for you. All right. And sometimes this is a little bit buggy because it's not recognizing that the keyword is in the first paragraph when actually it is. Let's make sure. HIPAA compliant online therapy, yeah. See, and I've seen that before. And sometimes you keep going and going and it's still and you're like, wait a minute, yes it is there. And sometimes it just doesn't. It takes a while for it redoes it. So the keyword density is low. Is only found 2 times, okay? And the subheading, no subheading tags appear in the copy. So we're going to fix that, because we're going to say here, you take this out, HIPAA compliant online therapy expected to grow dramatically, and let's go ahead and put it in a couple more times, okay? So you get that green is going to be, it's not going to change. It's not going to get darker green or something, but the signal to Google is going to be really strong, okay? You like the idea. Now if you're going to weave in your focus keyword, you want to make sure that it's done correctly, okay? You can't just stuff it in anywhere. So many of the therapists who are interested in working from home and are considering, whoops, see, I told you I can't type, considering HIPAA compliant online therapy, have been considering coaching as a vehicle to go national. Well, that doesn't really make sense, does it? So I'm going to take that out. So you really have to be, I'm doing this in real time, and I'm bumbling around, because this is what you're going to do, okay? If I did it and it looked like a big slick willy thing where I wasn't really working, you would think, oh, that's just how it goes. Well, you have to actually read. So according to the post, okay, you can't misquote somebody, so I'm not going to do something that's in a quote. An entirely red map equals a much more open market for national. Well, telehealth is basically, national HIPAA compliant online therapy, right? And so that's kind of how you have to do it. Now let's save the draft again. And what you're doing is all of these things are just giving a signal to Google that that's really what this page is about. And you don't want to stuff it in either. If you don't want to have like 10, references in your copy, because that's considered keyword stuffing, and Google doesn't like that. Okay, so it says it's a bit low. I would keep it at low. Okay, you don't want it more than about 5 or 6 times in a 700 word article. Okay, so that is basically all there is to it. I mean, there's a lot more to it. If you really want to get into keyword analysis and things like that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go to Counseling Wise, and you can go here and you can do private consulting for therapists, and I can teach you all kinds of things, such as how to do your own keyword analysis, how to use Google's keyword tool. I can teach you how to see in Google Analytics what's working. Bye-bye, Becky. See ya. She's so fun. Always popping up. She's just great, by the way. If you could meet her in person, you'd love her even more than you do in the virtual world. Anyway, so if you need more than that, and you want to be able to, for example, read, once you're doing your acquisition and you want to understand Google Analytics, for example, and see if all your work of optimization is paying off, and which pages people are coming from, and which keywords they're searching with, and I can teach you that. I can also teach you to use how to use Google's keyword tool. I can teach you, content and blog writing best practices for search engines. Okay, I can teach you a lot more about this. Okay, this is just the very beginning. But to do that, you have to go on to private consulting for therapists, and you go ahead and purchase it. It's $120 an hour. It's a very good investment, but that's just an option. Other than that, you're pretty much all set. And of course, you would publish you would go here and you would click publish, and then you'd be all done. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.